Do what you love doing. Don't succumb to peer pressure or adult pressure. Find your voice, find what you really enjoy. And even if it's something different and it's something that's not considered cool, if you love doing it, you will thrive in it. And eventually you'll be happy because you continued to do it. That's the same kind of approach I have to my kids. If they love doing it, I don't care if it's not considered the cool thing, or if it doesn't mean that they're going to get a varsity letter. I want them to be happy and I want them to enjoy themselves. You're convinced that you're going to fail or fall or get hurt, that will come to fruition because that's what you're visualizing. I never I was willing to get hurt along the way, but I didn't visualize myself getting hurt along the way. And I think that's what stops a lot of people, and that's really what separates a lot of people from being world champions or from being as good as they can, because they stop at some point saying, oh no, I am not capable of this, or I'll probably get hurt doing this. And if you approach anything with that hesitation, you're going to fail. I always approached it like, this is going to work. I'm going to figure this out, even if it takes me hundreds of attempts. And I wasn't, the idea of falling, getting back up again, that didn't really bother me at all. I know there are so many kids out there that feel the way that I did when I was a kid, just awkward and not excelling at one thing in particular and not cool. And skateboarding was my way out of that. And I hope that if not with skateboarding, they find it in something else they do. But I hope that they're not afraid to try something different, because you can't listen to the haters. That's my best advice to anyone. If I had listened to the haters, I would have quit a long time ago. I would have quit when I was 11 years old. Like, I used to get bashed by professional skaters because my style was dorky, or it was all circus. It was, but you can't. You've got to believe in yourself. It wasn't until I started my own team when I realized that there are people with incredible talent and no motivation. And then there are other people that are willing to work their ass off who don't have a natural ability but will become successful because they're so determined. And I saw it, I saw it especially in a couple of guys that I first put on the Birdhouse team, namely Andrew Reynolds and Matt Beach. Matt Beach was, in my eyes, the most naturally talented skateboarder that I've ever seen. Everything came easy to him. And when I would request these guys to go on tour, all I ask of them is that they skate for exhibitions and whatnot. Matt wouldn't skate half the time. I flew him to Europe. I didn't have any money then, in our company, but I was flying these guys to Europe for competitions. He would go to the contests and not feel like skating. And I was like, how can you do that? I was just thinking, but not just to me, but to yourself. Like, you have this incredible talent and you just don't care. For me, it's about approaching things with confidence. If I'm going to set out to do something, I've already convinced myself that I can do it, that it is possible. If I go at it and I think, I don't know if this is going to work, that's when I get hurt.
That's when you get hurt.
You know what I mean? You can't just throw caution in the wind and go, oh, let's see what happens.
Yeah.
And, especially at my age and having this much experience and having so many injuries along the way, I'm way more methodical about learning things. You know what I mean? It takes me way more tries, and I have to know that it's going to work before I go out and try to make it. I knew I wanted to be in the skate industry. I love skating too much. I wanted to be in it. I didn't know if I would make a living as a professional, but I was devoted to skateboarding. So I refinanced my house and took all the money and started a skateboard company, which seems like the stupidest thing in the world to do when skating's dying, but it was exactly what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a company owner and be behind the scenes. I quit my sponsor and started, and for about 3 years, struggled very hard with my partner and I. We had pooled our money together. He was an ex-pro skater as well, and we just did Birdhouse and did whatever we could to get by, and all the team was staying on my couch. I'm literally like, while I'm changing diapers, I'm like driving guys to these spots that they're gonna get arrested at because there's no skate parks, so they're gonna go ride schoolyards, and it was such a strange existence. But I loved it because it was skateboarding and it was exactly what I wanted to do. And so we really hunkered down. You know, like I was living on Taco Bell and peanut butter and jelly and top ramen. Probably 3 years for sure. But I didn't care because it was like I still got to do what I love. That's the thing, is that people think, was it a struggle? And it's like, well, no, because, you know, I loved it too much. I still got to go skate. And I had time to skate. I didn't have to go sit behind a computer for 8 hours and then hope I get time to skate. The moment when I knew I wanted to skate and not do other sports was the first time I went to a skate park and saw people flying out of pools. All my life I was trying to find a buzz, and I didn't really get it from team sports. I was okay at baseball and basketball, but I wasn't improving at a rate I could see. And then when I went to the skate park for the first time, I literally saw these guys going into a pool and flying, and I was like, that's it. And then I started trying to figure out how to do that. I did it in the little pools. I saw a picture of Steve Caballero, who was about my size, but just a little bit older, and he was doing air in Winchester, like 3 or 4 feet out. I saw these guys, they were older and more experienced doing these things, and it looked intimidating, but it looked awesome. When I saw Steve Caballero, he was my size, near my age, and he was literally flying. And I was like, if he can do it, I can do that. I know I may not do it as well as him or with as much style, but I'm gonna learn how to do that. And that was the moment. That was the moment when I decided I was gonna do that, because I did like that it was made me different, and that it was something that I identify myself with, and it's made me stand apart from everyone else I went to school with, most other kids my age. You know, I did appreciate that, but at the same time, I always wondered, well, why don't they like this? You know, this is amazing. Like, it's super difficult. It's adrenaline filled. It's dangerous. There's a sense of accomplishment. You know, what are they missing about this? And it was always it just never really hit in those days. And so, yeah, I guess I would be the one to either blame or credit for doing mainstream stuff and hopefully making it acceptable or making it authentic. I don't really need the money. Like, I don't need the money anymore. I made dream money from video games, like stuff that things I would never imagine. You know, when people say like, is this what you dreamt? I didn't dream any of this. None of this was possible or even considered a reality when I was a kid. You know, when I started skating, like, the best you could hope for was your picture in a magazine, maybe a pro board, maybe, and free gear. That's it. And then once you reach an age of responsibility, and I'm talking about when I was like 12, once you reach an age of responsibility, say 18, your career is over, because you can't make money doing it. You can't do it into your adult life. Obviously, I'm hugely thankful to still be able to do this for a living. Like, this is what I love doing more than anything. And I would do it for free. Like, any day of the week, you know, at any given time, I'd happily just go skate. It just happens to be the thing that I'm successful at. So I get to do what I love for a living, and that's living the dream. I mean, living the dream, I'm not talking about financial success. I'm talking about loving what you do. You know, if you love art and you do art and maybe you get a little bit of success at it, you're living the dream. When I started our company, Birdhouse, in the first 3 years in, we were ready to give in. You know, the sales just weren't there. The interest wasn't there. And same with my skating. Like, I was still improving my skills, but for no audience. So it was definitely difficult, but we embrace those challenges too, especially as athletes. I mean, someone poses a challenge to you and you have to figure out how to get over it.